international tournament, whether it's a World Cup or a Euros. Yes, they have had tournaments in the past where they've gone missing all of a sudden, but those are few and far between. And I think more often than not you'll find them in the mix going for the title come the final 4 teams or so. I think England are in with a really good shout of getting far at the tournament as well. So I think those would be my top 3, with Spain probably coming in 4th as well. An international tournament, whether it's a World Cup or a Euros. Yes, they have had tournaments in the past where they've gone missing all of a sudden, but those are few and far between, and I think more often than not you'll find them in the mix going for the title come the final 4 teams or so. I think England are in with a really good shout of getting far at the tournament as well. So I think those would be my top 3, with Spain probably coming in 4th as well, in terms of the teams that I think are in with a really good shout of winning it this summer. I think they all have exciting squads, good managers, good mentality, and players who are really in form at club level in their domestic leagues. So those would be my 4. But feel free to get involved. Let me know who you think is going to win the Euros. How far can Germany go? Is Julian Nagelsmann the manager to bring glory back to the German national team? Let's have another look at some of these comments here. Sabin Füllkrug is more of a proper number 9 than Havertz, though. Totally agree, totally agree. Depends how you want to play, really, I suppose. Do you want that target man like Füllkrug up front? Very different sort of players, aren't they? I mean, Füllkrug is more of an old school number 9. Havertz more of a modern forward who can play anywhere across a front 3. I think it depends on the opponent. I think it depends on the situation in the game as well. I mean, one thing Füllkrug is amazing at is just holding up play, and sometimes you feel like he's gone missing in a game, although he hasn't. He does the things that people perhaps don't see, don't recognize, don't appreciate as much. You know, the hard and dirty work that no one likes to write headlines about. I think Füllkrug really sums that sort of a situation up really well, and can sort of play 60 minutes where you feel like he hasn't really done much, but then pops up with a goal, and then you watch the highlights and you realize that the other 2 goals scored by Borussia Dortmund or Germany all came through him, his hold-up play, his good upper body strength to sort of ride off challenges and tackles and just keep play flowing, allowing other players to then come in and be involved either side of him, be that in wide positions or through the middle as well. So, yeah, it's a good shout. I wouldn't be surprised if Nagelsmann does start Füllkrug up front as the main man, leading the line. And perhaps Havertz in a sort of wide position out left. I mean, having both of them on the pitch, what's wrong with that as well, right? Moukoko should play. Well, he does play at under 21 level. Scores goals for fun there. I don't think we'll see him at the Euros, though. What else do we have? John Williams. Bayer should be ahead of Füllkrug. Well, you're probably not the only person to think that. I mean, if you think of the season Maximilian Bayer has had, and perhaps Havertz in a sort of wide position out left. I mean, having both of them on the pitch, what's wrong with that as well, right? Moukoko should play. Well, he does play at under 21 level. Scores goals for fun there. I don't think we'll see him at the Euros, though. What else do we have? John Williams. Bayer should be ahead of Füllkrug. Well, you're probably not the only person to think that. I mean, if you think of the season Maximilian Bayer has had, it's, well, one to really take note of. The Hoffenheim forward in scintillating form, but doesn't quite have the experience at international level. Of course, yet to make his first cap for the German national team, and I think it's that lack of experience which will see him, if he is in the final squad for the tournament, probably starts from the bench rather than be in the starting 11. How about prediction for the starting lineup for first group match? Nagelsmann will choose double forward Füllkrug and Havertz, or just Füllkrug with 2 attacking wingers on the left and the right. I think a front 3 is probably more likely. But that doesn't mean that Füllkrug and Havertz can't still be involved, as just mentioned. I mean, you could have the likes of Wirtz probably playing maybe out in a wide right position, or a front 3 of Havertz out on the left, Füllkrug leading the line up front, Leroy Sané out on the right, and then even have a Florian Wirtz sort of in behind that front 3 if you want to be really aggressive and really attacking. Something I think Germany can afford to do against Scotland in the opening game. I think you really have to go for it. You want to get off to a really strong start. I think a high-scoring win, there's nothing better for you at an international tournament, especially in front of your home fans and on home soil as well. You know, get that confidence running through the veins of each and every player nice and early, and then build on that. Have that be your foundation to go forward. I think you can't ask for more than that now. Does that mean if Germany don't necessarily perform well in their first game that they can't go on and win the tournament? No, of course not. I mean, look at Argentina at the World Cup. You know, losing to Saudi Arabia and then went on to become world champions. So it's not the be-all or end-all. However, I think it is something that Nagelsmann will be hoping for and aiming for, because it certainly will be a helping hand, but not decisive. Will Wirtz play Euros? Clauin asks. I think he'll definitely be there. Wirtz is not with the squad right now, having just won the DFB Pokal with Bayer Leverkusen. He's been given a little bit of time to rest. His season was a little bit longer than some of the players out there here today. Another reminder for those of you who have just joined us, there are still some players away and on club duty. The Bayer Leverkusen players not here. The Borussia Dortmund players, they still have that Champions League final coming up. Same goes for the Real Madrid players, Toni Kroos, for example, and Ter Stegen and Ilkay Gündoğan also not joining up, as the La Liga season a little longer than the German one. Michael G. Scott, who should start in goal between Neuer and Ter Stegen? Well, it's a question that has racked the minds of German fans for how many years now? I mean, some would say, I think many would say, that Germany are very, very fortunate in the goalkeeping department. I mean, they have some fantastic goalkeepers at their disposal. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, the Germany #2 and Barcelona #1, 40 caps already. But, of course, has Manuel Neuer ahead of him, who's on 117 caps. Absolutely incredible. Second most cap player in this Euro squad. The most cap being Thomas Müller with 128. For me, I think you have to go with Manuel Neuer if he's fit. Simply because, say what you want, I think Manuel Neuer is still one of the best goalkeepers in the business. I mean, that semi-final in the Champions League, yes, it was a Manuel Neuer mistake that perhaps led to that goal, that famous goal now. But if you look at the game as a whole, the amount of saves he pulled off throughout that game, and I don't mean just normal saves, I mean like crunch time, clutch saves. I think, yes, they became then forgotten with the one mistake that he did make, but I think he did show that he was keeping Bayern Munich in that semi-final for lengthy periods of time, thanks to his antics in goal. And I think his experience and ability is still unmatched in terms of the goalkeeping department. for the international team. So for me, you have to start Manuel Neuer if he's fit and available. I don't think you can get past him, really. But should Marc-Andre ter Stegen be given the opportunity, I don't think anyone's going to be too upset either, because he, in turn, is another world-class goalkeeper. So, yeah, not a decision I'd want to be making, but if I had to, I would probably go with Manuel Neuer, and this will probably be his last international tournament as well. So, could be one hell of a goodbye if Germany do well. Questions about, will you bring it live here? Will the Euros be live here? I'm guessing is the question. No, they will not. We're just bringing you the live training, possibly some of the friendlies as well, before the tournament kicks off. But the actual tournament itself will not be streamed live here on the German football channel. So the players seem to have